The psychology of ignoring toxic people. Some people feel the need to respond to every provocation. Others understand the power of silence. If you feel drained by constant drama, there is a psychological reason for it. This video explains how ignoring distractions is not an act of weakness, but a strategic defense of your mental energy. 1. Starving the drama. There is a fundamental psychological principle called operant conditioning. It suggests that behavior followed by a reward is likely to be repeated. For toxic individuals, or what we might call drama vampires, your reaction is the reward. They do not necessarily want a solution to their problem, they want an emotional participation trophy. They want to see that they have disrupted your state of mind. When you choose to ignore this behavior, you are essentially breaking the feedback loop. It is not passive. It is an active removal of the fuel they need to burn. Many people make the mistake of trying to win an argument with an irrational person, but trying to use logic on someone who is emotionally unregulated is like trying to play chess with a pigeon. It knocks over the pieces, craps on the board, and struts around like it won anyway. By ignoring the bait, you deny the pigeon the game. You're not suppressing your emotions. You're simply refusing to invest them in a bankrupt enterprise. 2. Preservation of cognitive load. Your brain has a limited amount of energy for decision-making and emotional regulation each day. Psychologists call this cognitive load. Every time you engage with a petty distraction, a toxic comment, or a meaningless debate, you are paying a tax. You are spending expensive neurological currency on cheap entertainment. Ignoring distractions is the ultimate act of resource management. It is the realization that your attention is a finite resource, not a public buffet. When you engage with toxicity, you are allowing someone else to dictate how you spend your mental energy. It is surprisingly easy to feel exhausted at the end of the day without having achieved anything, simply because you spent 8 hours reacting to other people's urgency. The ability to ignore is essentially an energy shield. It keeps your cognitive load light, so you can use that energy on things that actually matter, like your own life, or literally anything else besides their drama. 3. The gray rock method. In psychology, there is a specific technique for dealing with manipulative or narcissistic personalities called the gray rock method. The goal is to become as uninteresting as a gray rock. When you cannot physically leave a situation, perhaps the toxic person is a coworker or a family member, you become emotionally non-responsive. You give short, monosyllabic answers. Okay, I see, maybe. You offer no personal information, no emotional reaction, and absolutely no drama. The psychology here is simple. Toxic behavior is often performance art. It requires an audience. If the audience is bored, the show gets canceled. This isn't about being mean. It is about being boring. It is about becoming the psychological equivalent of a tax audit or a wet cardboard box. When you stop providing the spark of conflict, the other person will eventually seek that stimulation elsewhere. It is a highly effective way to protect your peace without technically being rude. You are present, but you are not participating. 4. The high cost of context switching. Beyond toxic people, there is the issue of general distraction. We often feel guilty for ignoring messages, emails, or quick questions. However, research on flow states shows that once you are interrupted, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully regain your focus. If you acknowledge every distraction the moment it appears, you're effectively choosing to work with a fragmented brain. The quick question is rarely quick. It is a wrecking ball to your concentration. Ignoring these interruptions until a designated time isn't negligence. It is a requirement for deep work. Society has conditioned us to believe that immediate availability is a virtue. It is not. It is a recipe for mediocrity. By ignoring the immediate demand for your attention, you're prioritizing the quality of your output over the speed of your reply. If people are offended that you didn't reply to their meme within 30 seconds, that is a reflection of their insecurity, not your rudeness. 5. Silence as a mirror. The final and perhaps most powerful aspect of ignoring is that silence acts as a mirror. When you argue back, the other person can focus on your words, your tone, and your anger. They can make it about you. But when you respond with silence, or when you simply disengage, they are left alone with their own behavior. There's nothing to distract them from how ridiculous they are acting. Silence is heavy. It is uncomfortable. Most people will scramble to fill that silence, often revealing their true intentions or backpedaling on their aggression. By doing nothing, you force them to sit in the discomfort of their own creation. It is not manipulation. It is simply getting out of the way and letting them trip over their own feet. Conclusion. Ignoring toxic behavior is not about weakness. It is about strategic preservation. It allows you to keep your sanity intact in a world that is constantly trying to borrow it. If you found this analysis helpful, consider subscribing for more insights into human behavior. Understanding these dynamics helps us set better boundaries and live more peaceful lives.